Okay, so we've got Bess in the bottom right, Sacsri in the upper left.
Oh. Yeah, I'm not surprised to see a pause here. Something's wrong
happened?
with Bess' layout. He did not clone his probes correctly, so something's up. 2 of his probes went to the same patch.
Oh,
where it's like,
no.
Guys, I mean, all of us have been playing this game forever.
Look at our ref. What is that called, that thing around his neck that only cowboys wear?
Yeah.
Why is he cosplaying
well, he must
as
be
a Red
from
Dead
Texas.
too? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even know what that's called, but yeah.
Well, his gun has got to be right under that jacket then, right?
Maybe that's coming into style out here. Wouldn't that be funny?
Let's bring it back. I actually don't mind some of that Western fashion.
Oh, cowboys are cool.
Cowboys are cool.
Yeah,
they're the
those
only
are
people,
manly men right
They're
there.
the only people that really get to dress up like kind of like almost like you're cosplaying, but actually that's just how ranchers dress out there.
Mm-hmm.
Am I correct on that? They're the only people that are still allowed to just do it, and when we go there, we have to just act like this is normal.
Well, for them, it is normal.
Yeah. But, I mean, it's so out there as far as appearance.
It is. It is definitely very different. The
monks, I guess.
Unfortunately,
religious garb, but anything
you
non-religious?
can't wear your spurs on your Crocs, unfortunately.
Seriously, think of any other place that's, like, I guess within kind of civilization, so to speak. You know what I mean? Like, it's cowboys, right? They're still allowed to just dress totally
like
totally
cowboys.
out there. Yeah.
Like cowboys, yeah. They definitely.
Let's bring cowboy fashion back.
The cowboy hats look cool.
They do look cool.
Yeah. Cowboy boots look cool.
How much does a cowboy hat cost?
I think if you get a good one, it's really expensive.
How much are you thinking?
Like $500.
No way, really?
Yeah.
Whoa, that was way higher than I thought you were going to say.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure.
What do you think an average cowboy hat costs?
Well, I think you can buy a piece of crap cowboy hat for like $5 off of a.
I'm saying an average, maybe 70, 60.
Yeah, it probably costs you $100.
What do you think makes it cost more? Is it like the way it's made or something?
Well, good high quality Stetson. You know, you want a nice quality cowboy hat that's gonna stand up straight against sunlight and rain and dust and.
Keep the sun out of your eyes when you're hog tying a.
Keep that sun off your neck. That's important.
That's important.
Yeah.
You don't want to get sunburned, hence red neck.
Because there's nothing worse than a cheap cowboy hat.
There's not. Yeah, I can get behind that one, Artosis. Now, in this game we have the Forge opening. That was Forge on 11. With Probe Scout after Forge, and this is going to most likely be a Nexus on 13 here.
Cross spawns.
Yes.
How does that change it?
Well, doesn't do very much if it's a Forge opening, right? If it's a Gateway opening, then we'd probably see one Zealot sent across, and then he would go back and macro up. But if it's Forge first, then okay, he's probably not going to get rushed as quickly. He's still scouting around to try to find where his opponent is. I got to get the timing on this.
Like,
looks like
12
the cannon
Nexus,
starts at
12 cannon.
Yeah.
11 Forge and Scout. 12
well,
Nexus,
one
12
thing about
cannon.
this map is you can't scout and try to find the Overlord. Blockchains like this as well. And so that really impacts some of the decision making because when you go for Forge first, you have to get the cannon up before Zerglings could be there.
Yeah.
And so it's I guess Nexus. So he went Nexus 12, cannon 12. Yeah, I guess he knows the math on this. I wouldn't mind taking. I should eventually do this. Just sit down and figure out the exact timings for everything for what gets where.
It's very
just
important.
to know.
Just go through a billion VODs. That's what I did to get all my builds. And then eventually you get good at the builds and you don't need to use them anymore.
Well, just to know specific timings,
Yeah, it's important.
If you see like I think it's 155 is if they went hatch first, or if they went pool first, like overpool. The hatchery goes down at 205. Just having stuff like that just logged into your mind.
Oh, absolutely. I have so many of those timestamps. It's actually really, really important.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, the layer started before 3 minutes. I better get my eBay before 5 minutes.
Right. It's funny how the incorporation of the clock has totally changed the game.
Yeah. Things were very different, very by feel.
Things
build
were much
orders
more.
used to be written by supply numbers.
Correct.
Which it's like a really tricky thing to do. In fact, I still write my builds mostly by supply numbers.
I do as well.
But I don't use the supply numbers that much, to be honest. It's like in a perfect game, it'll be on this supply, but games are almost never perfect.
I have a lot more modifiers now in my builds that allow me to quantify where the game's at, that it's not just on you know, like, okay, I'm going to make my third pylon at this supply number or something like that, you know?
There's not that many builds anyways that are too complicated about stopping and starting workers and stuff.
And usually if it is complicated like that, it's in the early game.
Yeah, or it's Zerg playing and they only need like 3 buildings anyways to win the whole game, so it's like, it's not hard to memorize.
Yeah, yeah. By the way, the scouting probe was picked off. This is an immediate forge first. I'm sorry, a +1 attack first with the cybernetics core. I can't talk today. The Stargate coming here. Wait, did he cancel?
No.
He didn't cancel.
No,
All
he
right.
didn't cancel. He didn't
Okay.
cancel. All right, so cross spawns. He lost the scouting probe. He's getting his +1. Mr. Zealot's walking around the map right now. What's he looking for, Tasteless? What's this Zealot doing over here? There's no base here. What a fool.
Yeah, kind of odd to see him come out here like that. Even this spot that he put the Zealot's actually not very good. It doesn't allow you to be...
Oh! Shut up, Tasteless.
It's not that good.
Oh!
So this is now going to be 4 gates. So again, with a +1 attack coming this early, because you don't normally get it that fast.
No, you don't.
You want to get a few other things out, and then you get it when you think, okay, they're not going to try to Hydra bust me. But this is a counterplay into a lot of the Hydra play that we've seen here that's becoming a lot more trendy.
Yeah.
Is you go immediately in a +1 attack, you get 4 gates, you get Zealots with legs, and you burst out. And this actually directly counters a lot of Hydra all-ins.
Really? Well, like which ones? Like, are you talking 3-hat Hydra, or are you talking like the 5-hat
Well, it's
attacks?
like 3 hatchery Hydra when they come out and try to pressure you.
Oh, okay, so this is good against that.
It's quite good.
Okay.
Because now we should point out that's not what Zerg's doing, by the way. But had Zerg done that, and this was very popular, especially last year and the year before, where the Hydra all-ins. This allows you to come out and really start fighting. And, you know, a lot of Zergs, because, by the way, the normal build, I guess the most common is to try to get High Templars and Storm and a DT, and then get a bunch of gates and try to kind of push out, take a third. This allows you to start punching back really hard. Now, this could actually backfire for Sacsri because he neglected getting units early on. So he's about to be supply blocked.
Wow, that's actually really nice.
And the Zealots are going to come out very soon here. So this is going to, +1 attack is going to finish in a second, and so is Zealot legs. And there's going to be a lot of force on the map.
In general, though, how does this do? Because I believe this is 6-hatch Hydra, is it not?
This is, as far as we could tell so far, a setup where he got this, the Spire. He's got the Hydra Den, so he should be getting upgrades
I
there.
believe he has 6.
Yeah, and he's going to throw this down and start production. But the Zealots are going to come out. It seems like it wasn't quite timed out because normally the Zealots are supposed to have...
I bet you it finishes as he gets there.
Yeah, but I feel like because you see slow Zealots coming across the map, you have time to respond.
That is true. He is making multiple sunks over there at his third.
Anyways, he's going to come across the map now.
Yeah, this looks weird, doesn't it? Okay,
yeah,
there it is.
So
there it is.
It did finish on time, but I think it would have almost been better to attack a little bit later here. Now, he comes out. Then now, keep in mind, Mutalisks don't really do that much damage to Zealots. So the Zealots basically get to get their job done right away. And again, this would be great if it was a Hydra bust, but it was not a Hydra bust.
But he does have a couple Corsairs at home at least. Like, now that this bought him some time, is he fine to just go into Zealot Archon Corsair?
I think that's what you want to do. Yeah, I think you're correct.
Yeah, it seems like this is still pretty okay for best.
No, it's not bad at all. I mean, the Zealots are fairly expendable. The drones are being forced to move. We haven't gotten a shot of what's going on back at home, but Protoss needs to set up for something here. Now, notice it's not only Zealots coming out. I'm sure there's Templars back at home and Storm being upgraded. And so I would imagine behind this, we're going to see him get a pretty safe third base.
So at the end of the day, what, he lost maybe 8-10 Zealots?
Yeah.
Didn't get too many drones, like a few drones at the third he got, but he killed a couple Sunkens, kind of lost everything. Sure, he's building a decent Corsair fleet against these Mutalisks, but after all is said and done, I look at the supplies and, you know, sometimes that's a good way to look at how a PvZ is going.
Yeah.
Because Hydras are one supply, so it's like, well, it seems like Sacsri's okay here, like, totally. Like, you shouldn't mind how this went down, you know?
Now he's setting up to have +1 range attack, mass Hydra, and then mass Mutas. So, you know what? Protoss might actually be okay. If he can get enough Psy Storms out here. By the way, it seems like he stopped probe production. We don't see either of the Nexuses blinking at all.
Oh, okay.
Which is a little bit alarming.
We're 9 minutes in.
Because you're definitely not done making probes at this phase of the game. Usually.
If you go up to 8 gate, I guess it could be okay, right?
I don't know. I don't know for sure.
You should be on over 40 probes by now,
I'm still trying to learn this one.
Yeah. Okay, he's actually making probes again. Okay. Maybe he got supply blocked or something.
Yeah, that's also possible. He might have wanted to get more Templars out before the probes or something, and his pylons weren't set up right. But if you can make enough Corsairs back at home and then get High Templars and finally add in Dragoons, and you come out, this is kind of like that Goliath game, Artosis, where you get the Goliaths against the Zerg. You kind of just wait, and then you have enough, and Zerg is because if you can just shoot the Mutas down with the Corsairs and keep your Templars safe, you will be able to win against Hydras, usually.
Well, it is a 6-hatch play, so there's definitely going to be a lot of Hydras. No question about that. He actually has, look at that drone saturation on the 3rd base even.
So remember we were talking about this over text yesterday, and before we got to our games here today, I was talking about how there's almost like a gateway man, but for Zerg.
We should call it Hydra Man.
Yeah, Hydra Man. He's going to go for Hydra Man here. You know, the gateway man, you just make a bunch of gates. Sometimes you don't even have a robo, but you just attack into the Terran, and Terran's like, what?
Yeah, like,
why do you have so much stuff?
Yeah.
And trade inefficiently and still win the game. It seems like a lot of Zergs have opted for this style of play where you're going to power on 6 hatches, sit on 3 bases, get a lot of mutas, try to snipe the High Templars, and then just overwhelm the Protoss with Hydras. Because if you don't have Storm, because they were sniped by the mutas, you can't win the game.
Oh, he's actually going Lurker immediately here. That's kind of cool.
This is also more common now on the ladder, too.
This is kind of a popular map for contains as well.
Yes. Yeah, because it's a very narrow bottleneck that you're trying to run out of. It's really, really difficult to come across the map and I should say come out of your base and attack.
Yeah. Well, the Lurkers and Hydras coming across the map right now.
All right, we're going to break the 4th wall here, Tosa. Someone just walked by us and is throwing away my lunch.
I know. It's so funny.
I just saw this happen. They just walked past me, and I'm like trying to stay focused, but okay, so there goes my meal. I'll have to get another meal later.
No more lunch for you, buddy.
No more lunch for me.
You should have finished it before this game.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so I kind of like this. I mean, as long as you put all the Lurkers a storm apart.
Yes.
That can be really hard to break. Well, that one should move back probably.
Yeah.
Okay, or not.
This is where the Wallen works against the Protoss. Yeah. So Protoss is going to take an island. This is very typical. Even back in the Lost Temple days, this is what you did. As they continue, you take your 3rd somewhere else. And we're going for actually a pretty old school looking. Oh, there's the NORAD too. We're going for a pretty old school looking PVZ here. This is like one of the earliest ways that PvP was played out, was in this contained style. I don't know if we're going to have the hatchery contained, but we could.
I don't think we will this game. It's like he's on 6 hatch, so this doesn't feel like a situation where you want to be buying Sunkens and a hatchery. You should just be making units.
Yeah, I think maybe you're right. Yeah, that's a good point. I just I'm very curious to see if he can break free from this. By the way, behind this, what you tend to do, because they have to invest into Dragoons, usually to beat this, if you have enough Lurkers, is you immediately go into Cracklings. So that when they break out, you suddenly flood their army with Cracklings and you win the game.
Best unit in the game.
By a lot.
Yeah. All right, so that 3rd base being taken on the island, obviously with that Corsair fleet, should be feeling pretty safe about that. A lot of Dragoons have been made. I feel like you got to kill that right cannon for unit flow purposes. That is a scary contain, though.
Yeah. It's hard. It's actually very hard for Protoss to get out of this.
Well, if all the Hydras leave to intercept those Corsairs, this could be a great moment. Yeah, he comes out right then. Look at that.
I can't believe this. Okay. He ditched that position. Now, when Protoss is out on the map, you feel much more comfortable.
Yeah.
Zerg has to go back into a very turtley style.
And Sacsri actually took the mineral base as his 4th.
Yes.
What do you think about that? Like, it doesn't matter too much, right?
No, it's fine.
Yeah.
Zerg don't need an insane amount of gas.
Yeah.
It's if they can get it and they can get ultras or something, that's cool. But if they can't, they're fine with Hydras and Lynx.
Yeah.
You know, they're...
Your beginning game tech is your end game tech as Zerg.
Yes, yes. Very much so. It's not like Hydras become useless at a certain point in time in the game, really. I mean, there's a point in time where if you have I guess, every Protoss unit in the game.
Yeah.
And the Hydras are not as strong, but overall they're very good units. You want Lurkers and Zerglings and...
Well, I gotta say, I really like how they're both playing this game, to be honest.
Yeah.
It feels... yeah, it just... like, the way that Sacsri is setting up, I feel like I'm watching him play pretty confidently against Best.
Yeah, he looks very good.
You know, he's not trying to pull any cheap tricks or anything like that.
He basically did the contain, forced him onto the island, and
Yeah.
then backed up. He didn't overstay. I thought that Zerg was going to commit, because that's much more common, as the Zerg just tries to commit and drag the game into eternity.
Yeah.
As they just, you know,
drag
eat up
the game into eternity.
Yeah. And then eventually just take over the entire map. And, now, Sacsri's army on paper is better. He has more of everything.
He has a lot. He has a real lot. Look at those supplies, 182 to 175.
Yeah. And if Zerg's that high in supply, they have more.
Yes.
Because Hydras are 1 supply and 2 Lings are 1 supply.
They generally have less drones than they have probes as well.
Yes, so very scary moment. Now he's going to have to pull these Zealots away here. If he wants to try to push it, it's going to have to be the Dragoons. Now keep in mind, the weakest point for the Protoss is actually the Observers here. If you can snipe the Observer, the Protoss has to abandon the attack.
Yeah, and mobile detection for Protoss is literally limited to the Observer.
Yeah. If the Protoss had an Oracle in this game, it would be totally different.
It was totally
different. We would never lose a Zerg zone.
Yeah, that would be sick. So a Defiler Mound is coming out. It feels like Best here. So you talked about StarCraft 2. I almost called him Zest.
That's so funny.
Amazing, handsome, top of the world
You
Protoss.
almost called him Zest. I guess Zest is the best of StarCraft 2.
But that being said, right, it feels like Best needs to get something done or at least switch his tech, because you're not going to ever do anything here, right, against the Defilers with this heavy of a goon count?
I think you need to switch into Reavers on the defense.
Jeez.
And try to stretch out on the map. It's very hard. If Zerg gets to where Sacsri is, I mean, we just passed 15 minutes.
So much.
He's maxed out.
He's played such a clean game, too. This is, like, really impressive from Sacsri.
Well, let's also remember that Best opened up trying to counter something that wasn't even coming his way.
What a fool. Look at those storms.
Finger licking good, Artosis.
Yeah. Look at that Zergling blood. Okay, so, I mean, Best's army, like, looks pretty good, but these entrenched positions plus the Defilers should be getting, Consume and Plague very shortly here.
As much as I think Terran is thought of as a race that's hard to break when they're turtled up, I think Zerg is even harder, to be honest.
Yeah, well, that's the old way of thinking, because it was siege tanks on cliffs in Lost Temple. Zerg is by far the best turtle race.
Yeah.
1 Dark Swarm, Tasteless. Guess how many Dark Swarms? I just told you. 1.
2. Oh, 1.
One
okay.
Dark Swarm, and you can't break them. It's crazy.
So Protoss has to keep expanding out, but it's going to be very difficult. Protoss end up in a somewhat of a similar position to what happens to Terrans and TVP, where it's or TVZ even, where it's just kind of hard to take too much of the map. You can rely on, if you want to defend perfectly, mass cannons at a base, 1 to 2 Templars, 1 to 2 Reavers. And then you're maybe going to hold off attacks, but it's very, very taxing on the Protoss.
Okay, I gotta do it, Tasteless.
Go do it, Artie.
Is there any chance that we ever see carriers or arbiters?
No Artie.
Hey, don't you answer my question before I ask it.
No, I knew you were going to bring it up. Because Dark Swarm is, I guess arbiters wouldn't be terrible, but it's not like that helpful.
I think that the future of this matchup is arbiters.
Maybe you could just, oh god, that was a really good storm there.
Yeah.
So again, it's the Zealots are the only thing that can really do damage in the Dark Swarm.
See these goons dying to those Lings so hard under the Dark Swarm. Oh my god.
It's insane, really.
Yeah, and all these Lings coming up, he's losing all of this.
Okay,
this is all dead.
Best's army is going to be completely overwhelmed here. Sacsri's playing the game of his life, by the way. He looks so good.
He looks really, really strong. I'm surprised that Best actually committed. Like, he was doing well, but it was pretty clear that there was going to be reinforcements coming, you know?
Yeah, this happens, though, to Protosses and PvZ sometimes. You get a certain distance out, and then you don't measure how the engage is going to go, you know? It's actually not the end of the world for the Protoss, but he's going to have to recover it. I think that Zerg might have just gotten to the point where he can just overwhelm them. Zerg must, at this point in time, have so many drones mining here.
Yeah. It's funny, too. It's like only 4 base, quote-unquote only 4 base.
Right.
I feel like his macro has been really on point. He's droned more heavily than a lot of the Zergs that we see.
Yeah.
He's just played a very nice game here.
There is some late game comps you can go for. I think, first of all, you should get the Reaver defense. I think you upgrade shuttle speed. You get a few Reavers, and then you start making shuttles. You start storm dropping everywhere. So there's shuttle speed finishing up.
Oh my god, but there's so much here.
Now, I don't know what's in here. It might be just a ton of DTs. It might be, okay, it's Zealots.
Well.
Now, this is not a bad way to play the game at all. If you can get rid of some key tech.
Sure.
I think a lot of times if you're against a Turtle Zerg, it's better to bomb them with speed shuttles because Scourge can't catch speed shuttles. I think also something you want to do is get a second Stargate and start banking a lot of Corsairs.
Oh, you like that type of play?
I do. And I think you want to wait because eventually, especially in these positions, Zerg end up with a surplus of minerals. You know, Hydras are a little bit less desirable at times in late game than I think Ling Ultra, but I'm saying that now and it's like Lurker Hydra, so maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. But
well, it's like more Lings than Hydra. You're going to have some amount of Hydra in there, of course.
So you can, if they end up going full ground, getting a lot of Corsairs and some DTs and trying to do some stuff on the map, trying to storm drop a lot. But I don't know, man. This is looking really bad for Best here. I think Sacsri is going to slowly close in. I think he actually already knows he's probably going to win this game.
It's crazy, too, because Best is on 4 base this whole time. He's keeping his money low. You know, he's trying to do the harassment and everything. It's just Sacsri's playing such a clean game. Like, his defense of that shuttle that we just saw on the top left, we didn't even talk about it because it got shut down so quickly.
Yeah. Again, we're going to have more Plagues coming down here. Plague really hurts the Protoss badly. The combination of Plague and then Crack Leads is hilarious.
Yes.
Because shields are very temporary for the Protoss, you know.
Well, they take full damage from everything is the reason.
Okay, this
for
is
that.
a great storm over here. If he gets one more storm in that egg, oh, sick. Really good play. But again, the Dark Swarm allows the Lurkers to last a little bit longer. Best down to 110 to 151 supply. Again, if Zerg's ahead of you in supply, Zerg is way ahead of you in the game. A lot of late game PvZ, the Zerg's at 100 supply the whole time. Protoss is maxed out. Protoss still loses. So
the Sacsri just kind of bleeding in a few units here and there. Best will live through this technically, I think, but I don't see like a roadmap for him to do much else.
Well, he hasn't gotten any Reavers, which that would be handy against the Dark Swarm. The Reavers kind of stopped the push.
I feel like the throw of the army in the top right when he was trying to take his 5th, I feel like that was like he's never gotten high supply again.
Well,
he's been below 150
since.
It's
kind of hard though, right? Because like, what is he supposed to do? He has this army, but he just can't attack with it, and Zerg's just going to get more of the map. So.
Well, I think it's obviously very, very tough, but I feel like he should have retreated and reinforced because he was down to just goons. There's nothing worse in this game than just goons.
Yeah.
Like every Zerg unit beats pure goon.
Now the Crackleys are going to come in here, and you would think Archons counter this, but the Crackleys do so much. Are they not? Are they? They got the Crackley upgrade, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is just going to be too much. I think we're probably going to go to game 2 in a second here. This is
absolutely.
This should be the killing blow here. I think Best even knows the position he's in. Yeah. Once you lose that maxed out army, it's very hard to recover. Also, Sacsri played the macro game of his life.
It was
like, beautiful. He's basically made every perfect decision this game here.
Yeah, it was really, really well done. He's playing methodically, intelligently, confidently. There's something about it you can like see in people's plays sometimes that they're confident in a match, you know?
Yeah, no,
the way he was defending everything, he wasn't over defending everything. He wasn't over expanding, he wasn't trying to pull any tricks. He was just like, no, and now I do this, and now I do this, and now I do this, and now I win.
He's done it 1,000 times before, you can see.
Yeah.
Playing that so perfectly.
Nice game. Nice game.
So now we go to game 2. But again, Sacsri, I honestly am a little bit shocked, Artosis, that Sacsri looked that good.
Yeah.
In that game, that's crazy.
He's one of our Zergs of the future. You know, him, Action, Zero, Soma. These are the Zergs that are like taking over. Which means whichever one of them goes to the top spot has to go to the military, because that's how we've been doing it for the last couple of years. Whoever the best Zerg in the world is goes to the military immediately.
We gotta throw them into exile.
Oh, Sulky, did you win a KSL? Yeah, now it's your retirement.
Yeah, that's enough of that, Sulky.
Oh, effort, you beat Flash in a ASL Finals? All right, off to the military.
These are called marching boots.
Yeah.
So game 2 is going to be on Overwatch. Let's see what happens this time around. I think we're going to have a better game from Best. At least I hope so. But right now, Sacsri looks like he has mapped out ZvP entirely.
Yeah,
that's one of the scariest Zergs I've seen.
He looked fantastic.
Okay.
Tasteless. Game 2.
Both
Overwatch.
our players in the lobby. Right now, Sacsri with a 1-0 lead. Again, this is a best of 5. The winner goes on to the next phase of the KSL. Okay, so Best is in the upper left, and Sacsri is in the bottom right.
Cool. 2-player map. Anything different? Gateways?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of options here for Best for sure. I mean, you can proxy gate. Proxy gate is still very strong against Zergs. It does seem like double gate can beat overpool because you know you're getting Lings out 2 at a time. The Protoss is getting Zealots out 2 at a time. Obviously a little bit slower than the Zerg is. But I don't think we're going to have it this time around. It looks like it's probably going to be a fast expand map. It is easy to get a quick expansion up on this map, just to get the wall in set up.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Yeah, you can
it's a very nice choke.
Yeah.
Well, it's one of our newer maps, so it's actually just kind of designed better.
Oh, how funny. This is just a little subtle thing I noticed.
Huh.
You see where you put the pylon?
Yep.
I like that, at the mineral. A lot of people put it at the at where the rocks are.
What's good about that?
If we get a shot of it, let me point it out. Basically, it's a tighter bottleneck if they try to hydro bust you. There's a little bit more of a narrow area.
Does that mean the whole wall moves back? Or...
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
I think so.
Oh, okay. I think I know what you mean.
So this is overpool again here. But yeah, no 2-gate here. 1-on-1 maps, though, I mean, there is, of course, the option to just do some kind of a crazy rush. I think 4-pooling and 5-pooling is not as good on 1-on-1 maps because they're going to find you as soon as they can find you if they scout.
You get scouted immediately.
But on 4-player maps, 4-pooling and 5-pooling can... I mean, you could beat some of the best people in the world with that. So you can see here... Now, hold on. Where does he place what? Oh, wow. This is so odd. I'm sorry. Normally, in some wall-ins, the pylon's part of the wall-in.
Yeah.
But here he actually pushes the forge out. I guess you have more space here to make cannons in a way. But this is not what I expected.
You do have more room for cannons. That's for sure. Like, that pylon placement would be way better for that. But then you need an additional building in your wall, right?
I think so, but I guess if you have the forge on the bottom and the gateway above that, that entirely walls off that part, where if you have the pylon on the bottom as part of the wall, then there's a second entrance here.
How many Zealots are you going to have on hold position wall? 3 of them? Like
No, you need 1 to 2.
With forge gateway?
Well, let's see.
With forge gateway, don't you need 3? That was crazy blocking, by the way. He blocked that for 100 years.
Let's just wait and see where he puts it, because this is... Yeah, it seems like that's a pretty big berth up there, right?
Yeah,
it
feels like
maybe you
just
can
need
make
to
your second pylon a little bit behind that, and then it makes a more narrow entrance.
I think you would need to. Then all your stuff's like stuck there. I don't know.
Does he have a second pylon making?
Yeah, in the main, I think.
Oh, does he?
I'm not sure.
I actually am not sure. I mean, right now he's at 17, and he's... Some builds you can use the Nexus as the next. I don't think he has a pylon. Oh no, hold on. He must have one next to the. Okay, so, oh my God! Oh, ho, 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 ho. This is the sound I make when Zerg try to bust me.
Wow. Well, he just stomped that. Look at Sacsri. This game, trying to get that little cheapo victory there.
A little cheapo beepo.
Yeah. All right, he does have the second pylon in the main base. He doesn't even need a wall because there's no units. And he's seen the third hatch location.
I love that he knows exactly how many probes to send. He's like, oh, he's going to try to bust me and win the game. I'll send 3 probes.
Well, he is best.
Yeah.
One of the 6 dragons.
Tezos has, like, all of his probes down there. There's 1 mining. They still get in my main. I don't understand.
Totally. By the way, what do you think about that third base location for Zerg? Normally, I feel like I've seen 6 o'clock taken in these spots.
Yeah, but I think you want to try to just go where the probe is not going to go.
Okay.
It's hard for the probe to actually... I mean, if you control perfectly, you won't lose it until link speed's done, but they have to know where to send the first zealot.
Mm-hmm. Do you send it to the third?
You can. It's wherever the ling's in the probe or not.
Oh, I almost feel like I would go save the probe. That's what I do with my scouting SCV if he lives
Yeah,
that
but then they kill your probe and your zealot with links.
Oh, no, that's bad.
You'll never actually save it. To save it is to send it away. So he comes up here. Then this forces out some more lings, and then when the lings come out, he runs behind the mineral patch.
Sounds like you got this figured out.
Here we go. Watch. I am from the future. I'm like Biff with his almanac.
Tasus went back and gave KSL replays to himself.
That's right.
I don't know how much that's going to help you, buddy.
Unfortunately, I still can't get to S rank on the ladder, no matter how hard I try. Do we have a Spire?
No.
No, right?
Not yet.
Not yet. We should.
Yeah, I would imagine you'll make one.
So back at home, I imagine Bess is going to be getting a Stargate here.
Yeah.
Biff's almanac.
Listen, that one's easy, okay? Yeah. Stargate. Oh, the Protoss player's going to get the Stargate? You mean he's above 1,300 MMR? That's sick.
So, we have, Hydra Den coming down here now as well.
I didn't see a Spire. Did he not make a Spire?
It would be in the main if he did, because I haven't seen it anywhere else.
Yeah. I don't see it in the main, though.
By the way, it's a pretty big loss to lose those lings early on and basically not get anything for it.
Yeah. Is he just going to go for, like, Speed Overlord Hydra?
He might.
Because last time we saw this, that's what you said was going to happen, then it happened. Yeah, look at that. No Spire. Mixing it up.
So, we should probably check here and see how many Hydras he gets and if he can bust out. There's so many different Hydra timings. It's really fascinating. And it's such a balancing act for the Protoss to figure out, right? A Corsair can only see so much when you come in there and scout, right?
Yeah.
So you can see the, let's say you see the layer. Well, I mean, do you see a Spire? You need to look pretty hard, right?
Yeah.
If you're going to find one.
Can be hidden.
And in this case, it looks like, yeah, it's just going to be Overlord speed with some ass Hydras. Maybe even into an Overlord drop? I don't know.
Well, as soon as you see these Hydras turn around to attack the Corsair, you definitely know there's no Spire. So that's one thing right there.
That's a very good point. I hadn't thought of that. Yeah, that makes sense.
I could see him going into a drop. That'd be cool.
I wonder if you get
Force
dropped.
hands to the front, drop in the main.
Yeah, I wonder if you actually want to get dropped first because you can mask it pretty well, and then you get speed later. Because when you see Overlord speed immediately, you go, okay.
Yeah.
You're up to something.
The layer is up, though, so you got to be wondering what is he doing with this layer.
Does he have an Evo chamber here?
He has an Evo chamber at his third base now, but it just finished.
Okay. Well, these 5 Zealots are going to come through here and do a lot of damage on a pretty naked position here. I actually think that somehow this flew under the radar here for Sacsri.
Yeah.
You don't normally just see the Zealots just get in and
just do what they want.
And then run away.
Yeah. Look at that. Going to pick off some of these Overlords as well. The defending Hydra is not defending quickly enough.
Yeah, this is a great technique. If you can come in there and actually do so much damage with and draw so much fire away, it's totally worth diving on the Overlords with the Corsairs. And Sacsri is off to a terrible start here.
Such a different game than game 1.
Yeah. Well, Zerg was really passive, and Protoss really succeeded in coming out on the map and asserting himself.
A lot of cannons being made.
Well, you got to be ready for a possible counterattack. You know, if they get mass Hydra, occasionally you can just get overrun. You can do your damage, and then finally all the Hydras are out and then come attack you. And it's going to be, I think, a little bit longer before we have a third. Right now, Bess is going for control play.
Well, still supply blocked here is Sacsri. Taking a while to fix that up.
He's got to be careful. Again, another Overlord being taken out here. If you get enough Overlord kills, suddenly the Zerg is spending all their money remaking Overlords and not making an army. And if you're not missing a beat back at home, you are in really good shape to win the game.
Yeah, yeah. Definitely seems better than before. So going up to 6 gates so far. Should be seeing another coming up, I'd say. Has his High Templars out already, banking that energy.
So the Corsairs continuing to poke around the map here. This is definitely the game that Protoss wants to play against Zerg, though. You're in control. They're on the defense. You got a few tactical victories by taking out those Overlords. You've got Storm. You're probably getting energy along with that for the Templars. And then you're getting Observers. And the Observer is kind of the final piece of the Protoss army. That and a couple Dragoons thrown in with range. But that's when you kind of have everything, at least to start the mid-game out here.
Start roaming around and whatnot.
Yeah, start looking for fights. Oh, this is actually pretty annoying, losing some of these Zealots down here. I think Sacsri has the, I'm sorry, Best has the right idea, though. He definitely wants to try to control this area.
Yeah.
Since the upper right location is more likely to be pushed. You just want to make sure you have map control here. But getting 5 Zealots is a pretty big deal here. And again, with a Lurker play.
Well, he is getting that Goon range and Observatory, so should be able to counter that a little bit. So 8 gates. I guess we're not taking a third very quickly here.
No, this is pretty common, though, to go up to 8 gateways and really just try to have... Because if you take a third too quickly, that's what they want. They'll just Hydra bust you. You want to have such an army that you really got a lot of power on the map. A lot of Protosses used to try to expand earlier in this matchup, and they just end up getting attacked and getting killed here. Now, this is a great attack from the Zerg.
This come over the bridge. The Psystorm's on the bridge doing serious work right there.
Yeah. And if the Zerg can win this position, and I think he actually might, if he just dodges the next 2 storms that come out here, he's going to end up with a contain here. And this is what I was talking. This is what I was talking about earlier, Artosis, with this
making Hydras.
Yeah,
seems good.
It's like it's a Hydra man.
Hydra and Lurker man.
Yeah. Now here's the problem: Dragoons should organically beat this, except that now they're behind the wallet. So now you really can't quite get out. And if this gets reinforced, even though Observers are out on the map, look at this, guys. I mean, Protoss might as well start attacking the Gateway and Forge as well here. To open this up.
It's one time when both sides want it killed. Gosh.
I almost think he should back the Lurkers up slightly. I wouldn't even want to kill these buildings yet. I would want to get just a few more Hydras and a few more Lurkers here. You know what I'm saying?
Totally, totally.
Okay, he dives on that one cannon.
Those buildings are Zerg force fields.
Yeah, right? Now, what Zerg is looking for with the Overlord over here is for Observers. If he can snipe the Observer, and he will have Hydra range already, if he just clips that Observer, you have to wait for the next one to come out.
Yeah, that can be so annoying for the Protoss. Oh, look at this. He's just diving in right now. Gets rid of all the cannons.
Is he going to get that Observer? All right, he gets the Observer. I feel like Best wasn't watching for a second there. Now there's a drop in the... I'm sorry, there was a shuttle somewhere. Oh, it's in the bottom left. Okay.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
Okay,
there it is.
Okay,
yeah.
I see it.
I don't know what's in there. I'm guessing it's Zealots or something.
Yeah.
Zealots can't do anything in contains like this, so you might as well throw them into shuttles. Make them useful somewhere else on the map.
Feels like nothing's doing anything here. Sacsri with such a strong contain at the moment.
And so, again, I think the storms were not exactly great. Protoss was not quite ready for this attack to come in here, but it seems like, is Sacsri just overextending here?
A little bit, I think. He just tried to dive on the Observer and it didn't work out. So Best is actually going to break this finally.
Yeah. Now, I think Zerg could have done that a little bit better. Do you agree? I feel like Zerg should have backed up a little bit.
I think maybe he pushed a little bit too quickly.
Yeah, it just seemed like he was so confident he was just going to come through there and kill him. And I think the real victory is when you actually push Protoss behind. When you push Protoss behind the their own defenses. Then they don't have very much control over the fight.
Coming out is very difficult. Like they might even have to kill cannons and stuff to have the flow of units. Okay, now looks like Best wants to counterattack. Not sure about that army though.
Okay, Sacsri's handling this drop really well, but I got to say, Best had the right idea. This has really been a very successful drop. It drew the Zerg away. Now, if I'm the Zerg player, I'm feeling pretty insecure. I had a contain, I won the fight, I overextended, and now Protoss gets to roam, and You know, the Zerg's army is still scary, but nowhere near as scary as it could have been. And actually, I think Best is just going to... Oh, no, I guess not. I'm sorry. I thought he was going to break him.
Those are Hydralisks on high ground.
Yeah. What was I talking about? How dare I?
How dare you?
But Best is getting his third base up. Protoss doesn't have to win a fight here. Protoss just has to make sure that the third base is up and running.
Just have some side storms now. Has that high ground advantage. Sacsri turning around smartly. All right. Would you say that this game is Best favored right now, or is it pretty even?
If the third finishes and he gets a gas up, it's Best favored.
So right now, do you call it even, or do you even call it Sacsri?
Well, I mean, the thing, Artosis, is that it depends on where the storms land, right? Sometimes you'll see storms not connect. In theory, if he does everything perfectly, he should be okay. Like coming up here, there we go. That's a good spot to be because I don't see Zerg breaking that.
No, that looks completely unbreakable.
Earlier, Protoss was out on the map, and at that moment, I was actually pretty unsure of what might happen next year. Now, Zerg's on 3 bases with no fourth in sight, so we're going to have some kind of fight here, or Zerg's just going to outgrow the Protoss. Now, here it looks like Zerg might even try to actually come in and take out this the natural here, and just have the Protoss fight in a very unfavorable position.
Kind of interesting watching those probes drill through attacks with his army to draw fire so he can get some through.
Best is, I think, really playing a really excellent game here.
Yeah.
So he's trying to fish this army out. Sacsri, tactically, by the way, is a genius. Protoss is actually so much...
Which moves are you saying that are making you think that?
Well, look, the entire army was at the natural, so he just comes down here and then uses the bottleneck there. He's doing so much with so little. This small number of Hydras is controlling this. And meanwhile, the natural is actually getting pushed in.
Well, some more units rallying out. I don't think he's going to lose the natural because a flank from the third base should be able to save it, right?
I think so, but hold on. Sacsri's kind of making magic happen here, Artosis, with these Hydras.
Yeah, it certainly seems so.
You know, if you lose a couple Templars and you're not macroing out more Templars, there's this window of time where when Protoss loses the first fight, they just don't have Storm for a while. And if Zerg can actually get enough coming out here, he might be able to push it in. But these Zealots back at Sacsri's base, he's killing so many drones. There's a possibility that Sacsri just sort of runs out of fuel here.
Yeah, it's starting to look like that, actually. I think Best has enough to push him back now.
Had these shuttle drops not been happening, I think Sacsri probably would have taken this game.
For sure, for sure. The few extra units that are over there would not have helped in this situation.
I'm saying that, but again, it's just Hydras right now. These Dragoons are not bad against a small number of Hydras, but they're not great either. We really need to see some more Stormers here. A Lurker burrows. Oh, good save. You know, Zealots are pretty good units, Artosis. You can kind of leave them alone, and they do a pretty good job.
They're very good at making my mines and my tanks kill my tanks.
So he's managed to hold this off for now, okay? Protoss is on 3 bases. Didn't even take the gas, by the way. That's how preoccupied Best has been in this game.
His probe count is kind of low, too.
Yeah.
Like, he's having a hard time actually getting a full 3-base economy flowing.
But Sacsri knows the problem that he's in as well.
Yeah.
He is not teched into any direction. He's stuck on Hydras.
I'm not envious of Sacsri's position.
No,
this really feels like a Best victory.
Yeah, if Best does this right, I think he should just barely eke out ahead. Again, the thing about Hydras, man, they're such responsive units. They're so easily controlled.
It looks like he's about 5 seconds off of Sidestorm here, so pulling back, buying a little bit of time.
I love the shuttle play. This is how you really punish a Zerg that skips Spire. And here he comes. He's going to go for the Assassinate on the Templars. Does get one. Storms come down, easily dodged. Okay, I think we're in that window. There might not be another Storm available.
I think he has one right now, that top high Templar.
I think you're right.
Oh, actually, yeah, there's one right there.
Another Storm comes down.
Nice one.
We have a drop here. 4 Zealots again. I think you just right-click that next to the gas and forget about it.
Yeah, for sure.
And just go back to try to win this fight. Oh, my God. Great Storm there.
Beautiful. Sacsri, does he have enough Hydras to clear this, though? I think he actually does.
Yeah,
At the same time, taking a ton of damage from the drop in his main.
Well, this is the funny thing. The Hydras are just barely better than the entire Protoss army.
Yeah.
It's so funny. It's like you have to do this whole balancing act you're going through, but I think Best is overall doing more harm to the economy here of Sacsri than Sacs. Oh, well, hold on a second.
That's a lot of Hydras once again. This is a crazy game.
This Gateway Man, Artosis, this is our Gateway Man, okay? You're just doing
Hydra,
everything.
man.
You're trying to tech up, and they got a lot of Hydras.
Just rallies them up. All these nice drops that are doing a ton of damage to Sacsri. It's like, well, I can still afford Hydras. They're pretty cheap. Look at that. Best only mining off his third base.
What's so funny is that this game is going to come down to whether or not Protoss can just weather the storm.
Yeah, just barely.
Just barely survive this.
I thought actually
By the way,
that
we
he was
still
gonna
don't
be
have
able
the
to
gas
hold.
taken for Best. I don't know why, or unless Best knows something super advanced I don't understand. Like, you don't want gas right now, which
His
doesn't
economy
seem.
is pretty.
It doesn't
weak.
seem right though, right?
Yeah. Well, he's got the two geysers, like the natural probably isn't
The main
depleted,
is
right?
depleted, right?
Main should be depleted, but I believe the natural still has a little bit longer. Maybe
I guess
a
he's
minute.
got enough Templars though.
Yeah, he's got a good amount of Templars. The thing is, when you're only on one base, minerals become
Wait,
more important.
what is actually in the natural? Is it how many cannons are there?
None. Zero.
There's nothing there.
Nothing.
Wait, there's literally nothing defending that?
There's nothing in the natural. The third base has 3 cannons. That's where we're at.
I'm
right
sorry,
now.
that's what I meant, the third base. Okay.
Yes, the third base has 3 cannons.
So it's just barely enough to maybe hold off some Hydras.
Yeah. You'd have to commit a certain amount, and then you would certainly run up there and attack.
By the way, in a game like this, probably worth it to get observer speed. You know, it's just like the more. Flash had a video where he pointed this out. It's like you can just get it.
Yeah, it only costs the same amount as 2 observers.
Yeah. I mean, some of the top tier Protosses don't lose observers, but I think Zergs are so good at sniping this at this point in time.
We're watching one of the best Protoss in the world for the last 15 years, and he's losing 100 observers this game.
That, I think, is the tipping point right there. GG. There we go.
What a game.
That was close, man.
It was. You can see the
20
look on
minutes.
his face.